The Driveway Podcast.
Football season,
Welcome.
I could smell it.
Football season, I can smell it too. Welcome back to The Driveway. It is episode 20. We made it to the big 2-0. We appreciate you guys for sticking around and listening. Today's episode is going to be pretty exciting because we're going to involve a little bit of baseball. And you smell that? Pigskin? You smell that barbecue going?
I'm watching Panthers and Cardinals that are taking me back to Kurt Warner, Cam Newton type. I'm starting to get like the chills.
They call it the Hall of Fame game for a reason, brother, and that's why we're going to talk about a little bit of football at the end of the show. We're going to keep it strictly MLB football because there's going to be basketball news that we have here and there, but trust me, we'll cover it when the time comes. LeBron's a Sixer. I'm sure you guys already fucking know that, whatever. Okay, let's start with some MLB talk. Right here we have our main lead MLB representative. Usually I take a little bit of a lead of hosting, but I think with MLB talk, I'd rather have Danny do that because he is what you called it. What did you call it before the show?
I'm a 162er. A lot of people have been talking about that. That's just how I've lived. I've always watched every Cub game, good or bad. I live and die by watching sports, and if I didn't watch Cubs, I would have nothing to do in the summer. I travel here and there, but I'm not a party guy. I don't like to go get fucked up. Like, I like to watch sports with the boys. I like to fucking consume every type of sport I can. Baseball actually was my first sport that I got into. And I know people probably don't give a fuck about this, but I grew up in Chicago in a time when the Cubs were the lovable losers, and everyone had an old grandpa that listened to the radio with headphones that like similar to the ones I got on here. You'd go down there. Wrigley was kind of ratty. It had a personality. It like the only place to eat was a Taco Bell and a McDonald's. Like, you'd walk around and like people would be sitting out on the street in lawn chairs with their jackets on in freezing cold weather listening to the game, trying to catch a ball. It was like a legit neighborhood feel. Like, it's hard to tell kids now because kids go down to Wrigleyville and it looks like a fucking metropolis.
It looks like Nashville, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
But Wrigley Field, when I was growing up, literally looked like someone put a giant stadium in the middle of a neighborhood. It literally felt like you were walking through a neighborhood and you were like, holy fucking shit, what is that? Like a spaceship with a big scoreboard landed right in the middle of a fucking residential neighborhood. It was the best.
Like, Wrigley itself has had its changes, but what Wrigleyville's done is actually spectacular. So I was a Wrigleyville resident for about 4 years. I ended up, every single time I moved, ended up closer one block by one block to Wrigley, and that place changed even throughout those 4 years that I was there, where now it became, outdoor venues. There's music bars there, which have usually always been there, but outdoor drinking patios. Like, it is so much more than what it used to be. Definitely judging from the way that you remember it, like, it's pretty impressive. Now, if you love it or not, it is what it is, but I've enjoyed it, especially my time living there.
I grew up in an era where kids were like grown men would be crying after the Cubs would lose in the seats, and now you go there and it's just drunk college kids, which is fine. It's still a rowdy environment, but a lot of the personality has kind of been sucked out of the interior of the people sitting there. But let's go. Let's get into baseball here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a little bit of MLB talk, and then we'll get into the Cubs because the Cubs did have a pretty good trade deadline, so we'd want to cover them with a little bit more time. But I have a list here. I don't know if you wanted to follow the list or not, of what you feel, but I think the biggest deal, obviously, is going to be the Tariq Skubal going to the Dodgers. We're not going to go too heavy into the trades because a lot of them are just prospects. But in terms of this trade, how much of a shock was this to you? And did you think that other teams should have pushed in?
Yeah, not much of a shock. No, this is the problem. We've talked about teams having a problem with the floor, and like people saying a salary cap floor versus a salary cap is more important, because the only reason why the Dodgers got him for the price that they got him at, which was pretty cheap. They didn't really give up any top prospects for him. The reason why they got him is because a lot of teams were afraid to give up a prospect haul and then have to try to re-sign him, which he probably wasn't. It was kind of a chicken shit move by a lot of the teams, and the reason why I call it a chicken shit, I'm confident saying that, is because you see the package the Dodgers got him with.
Do you think it's more chicken shit from Detroit or from other teams? Because Detroit could also be called chicken shit for
Yeah,
making
yeah.
that offer, right?
So no, Detroit's in a tough situation. This is a hard place to be in when a team has a guy that's very clearly going to sign somewhere else in the free agency, and you have to do something about it, and then you go to shop him, and a lot of teams aren't confident that they're going to be able to get him with the amount of money that they have. Now, here's an interesting tidbit, because there's I don't know if you've heard the Tigers, Cubs, Dodgers conspiracy, but the guy in Detroit's been trying to screw over the Brewers because he was a former Cubs employee. I don't subscribe to that. I think that's complete shit, because if the guy in Detroit was going to help the Cubs, he would send Tariq Skubal to fucking Baltimore and not fucking LA, who we have to play in October. But apparently Milwaukee sent them a significantly better offer than the Dodgers, and they refused. Now, a couple things of that nature, right? A couple things people don't remember is this is an employee type of situation. Tariq Skubal could have said, "Don't send me to Milwaukee. I don't want to sign with fucking Milwaukee. They're going to get, there's no chance we're going to beat the Dodgers, and I'm not the best pitcher on Milwaukee. Miz is. Send me somewhere I could go." And then he goes to the Dodgers, and the reason why he might have said yes to the Dodgers is he's going to live in LA and he's going to get a fucking bag. I mean,
and he is a good fit. Like, technically speaking, for where the Dodgers were, because they had a few injuries, Shohei's not pitching right now. If you want to be winning, right, you want the best pitcher, it is somewhat of a good fit for him. And there's so much discourse on if it's ruining baseball or not. I think we'll get into that more of our closing discussion, but I don't want to ask you the question, is it ruining baseball? But do you believe that this is
no.
the straw that broke the camel's back?
No, that's horseshit, because you got the Mets spending equally, if not more money than the Dodgers, and they're last in the league. And, the Dodgers' big money contracts, besides Shohei, Kyle Tucker's been playing like dog shit.
Yeah.
So, they're doing trades, and they're developing their prospects, and they're trading their prospects, and they're bringing in good players that can win ball games for them. They are a well-run machine right now. This isn't ruining baseball. If anything's ruining baseball, and everyone's trying to get all complicated for it, you need to look at the rich fucks that own teams like Pittsburgh, that own teams like, Cleveland, and you need to look at all those financials and say, you're making a huge profit, but you're not spending on the team.
Yeah.
You're not, and don't give me this big market, low market shit, because look what the Rays fucking did. The Rays have developed their prospects, and they went and they got themselves a bunch of good players to contend for a playoff. They've been to the World Series a couple times. Look at Milwaukee. If the Dodgers weren't in front of Milwaukee, they could have a World Series by now. So, I mean, it's not ruining baseball. There's ways to win as a big market team and a little market team. Stop acting like Milwaukee being a smaller market than LA is them being Ball State versus Ohio State. That's not the fucking case. Little market teams have won. I mean, Arizona went to a World Series. Baseball is not a game of individual statistics. I mean, Barry Bonds was on the Giants, and the Giants, they didn't win fucking shit the whole time he was there. Greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah.
Statistically, I've never seen anyone like Barry Bonds. They didn't win a goddamn thing when he was there. They went to the World Series, and they lost to their crosstown rival. So, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear the ruining baseball. I've heard a lot of theories on how to improve baseball. Put a salary floor on there. Make teams fucking spend. Make teams spend their money. I mean, look, I love what basketball did. This is just, we don't get too into deep, but I love what they've done with the second apron and kind of making teams have to get creative. Even after they win the championship, a lot of people are saying that. But look, the Dodgers are doing something everyone could do. They've brought in a bunch of good players. They've deferred payments. And in about 5 to 7 years, when all these players are gone and they're still paying out $200, $300 million to 2 or 3 players that aren't on their team anymore, the Dodgers are going to have to operate like a small market team. Yeah. But the situation is, the Dodgers don't give a fuck if they win 3 World Series in the process of that. And a lot of people are saying Saudi money. Bullshit. Look at the fucking money that some of these owners have. Some of these teams have crazy amounts of money. The Yankees, the Cubs,
And not
they
to
all
mention, once you win a World Series, you get more money. Like you grow your profit. And I like what you said because I listened to the Bill Simmons podcast today. They were talking about the idea of the Dodgers, where it's like people know that the Dodgers are doing the right thing. It's just happening because they're winning. But yes, it's true. In the future, they're going to be faced with a really big dilemma that could potentially break them for a full decade, like how much money they're actually spending. So this isn't that it's going to play out finally in the long run where it's like they're just going to be a good dynasty forever. They tricked baseball. No, they just had, I think they timed the market perfectly, and they keep investing money into players when they know. It's the same thing happened, right? They were talking about the Yankees in the early 2000s. Only the Yankees didn't win it until 2009. Like they're being punished for something they're doing right, but in the future we're going to sit here in 10 years or so and be like, dude, holy shit, the Dodgers invested all this, forgetting about the three World Series, being like, dude, this franchise is desperate for anything. Like, they have no money.
Yeah.
They can't invest in players. Their farm system, it will continually be good, but that's a huge point that I think people need to remind themselves of, is that this is at the end of the day a long game. And now some managers like Pittsburgh, small market teams, like they need to start playing more for the short game. But in the long game, Los Angeles is in a bit of a pickle here, right? Like it's not going to be too easy for them in 5-10 years down the line.
Yeah, I mean, and also I don't think, from a positional player standpoint, I don't think the Dodgers are head and shoulders over anyone really. I think what makes them different is just their pitching staff. They're really fucking deep at pitching. But I mean, so is Milwaukee. So are the Yankees. You know, so like, I mean, the difference with the Yankees back in the day, and I still stand by this. I say the Yankees were worse back in the day because the Yankees had a positional, a guy who was either a Hall of Famer or a fringe Hall of Famer at almost every position. Gary Sheffield, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera. They had Bernie Williams. They had so many fucking guys on that team that were just every day you knew who they were. Alfonso Soriano. Like, you just knew who these guys were. The Dodgers have a really good starting lineup. The difference is one of those guys pitches in a game. So you don't have to beat all five. You have to beat one of those guys in any given day. I mean, look at the
playoff time, and when it comes to a 3-game series or like a shorter series, that might actually bite them in the ass, right? Because
no, not necessarily, because in playoff times they do this bullshit now where they do a guy pitches 1 or 2 innings and they do pretty much bullpen games on steroids.
Those run through their guys anyway then.
Yeah, but there are ways. Like, the league also, we're seeing things that people used to do against good pitchers that we're just not doing anymore. And if you watch what the Cubs did, I think it might have been against Skeens, but you know, the Cubs were not able to hit this guy at all. They weren't even getting close. They weren't even coming close. Same thing with Dylan Cease today. We played the Blue Jays today. They couldn't touch Dylan Cease. But what did the Cubs do? They just kept going up there, and they just kept hacking away, and they weren't changing anything. Back in the day, you ran counts, you bunted, you moved guys over, you took your walks. Like, you try to get the guy's pitch count up so he got out of there faster. And today, it's not abnormal that a guy walks away with 10 or 13 strikeouts in 5 innings of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fucking nuts. I mean, guys used to pitch 9 innings and have like 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's when the era of where you want to play the ball. It's like you want to be in charge of the ball, even if striking out is technically a move for the ball, right? Like, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I don't think it's ruining baseball. And I mean, the one thing I took away from this, and everyone was complaining about all this shit that was going on with the Dodgers. How about maybe 5 or 6 trades where a last place team sent a top player to the team leading their division rival? We saw the Orioles and Red Sox do it. We saw the Cardinals and Brewers do it. I mean, the Cardinals are in a fucking playoff run, for fuck's sake. Like, I don't understand. I don't get what is. I don't know why teams are helping out other teams in their division.
So let's get into that then. Let's get into that. So there's a few other, obviously a lot more trades that did happen. Tell me, in your point of view, kind of what lit a fire under you? What you thought was kind of a stupid trade? Just walk me through your mindset that you had through all these moves, because there's about 6 or 7 larger moves that also happened that day.
Yeah. I mean, I loved what the Rays did. I thought the Rays got super aggressive. I thought they brought in some great players. I thought they did some trades with some teams that were also in similar situations to them. So there was no one getting ripped off, and the Rays do a really good job in developing prospects. I would say the Orioles trade with Adley Rutschman does not make any sense to me. Very quality player. You send him to Boston, who's in your division. I mean, and not only that, I mean, people in Baltimore, a lot of people around the baseball are saying that the Orioles aren't rebuilding. They're just restructuring and getting ready, and they're trying to move money around. But, like, I don't know. You send a player like Adley Rutschman inside your division's really, really tough. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought maybe they were going to send some underperforming guys in the pitching staff that were asking for a lot of money, like a Tyler Rogers. I was kind of circling a couple guys on their pitching staff for the Cubs. I love what the Cubs did. We'll get to that. But ultimately, I did not like what they did. I did not like what the Cardinals did. I mean, they didn't give anyone super insanely elite to the Brewers, but at the same time, it just kind of felt gross with the Cardinals being in lockstep with some other teams for a wild card position, and then they made the trade. That's why St. Louis fans have been so fucking mad over the last couple of years. Luis Ariz, Giants traded Luis Ariz to the Phillies. That one doesn't make sense to me because
that got a lot of conversation through people.
Yeah, they got a huge package for him for a guy that's gotten traded every year. So, like, I don't really get that. That doesn't make a lot of
about his fit in the Phillies as well, because now every other position player has to move to a different position that they haven't played in years, right? So it's like the Phillies are definitely trying something completely different. That the team already fell apart last season, so it's like we'll see how that goes for them this year.
Well, and the Phillies are not getting they're not getting what they thought that pitching staff would be.
Yeah.
You know, and they just think Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and now Luis Ariz can hit them out of any situation. Trey Turner, JT Realmuto. I mean, on paper, the Phillies, you could make an argument they're killing baseball.
Yeah.
But they just can't fucking win a game. They're a wild card team. I mean, I don't know. So it's crazy, but I think the trade deadline. I think MLB pushes a lot of bad teams to get aggressive at the trade deadline to make it like another area. It's the same thing the NBA does. You know, NBA kind of goes fucking nuts, and then you're like, oh my God, Anthony Davis got traded to the Wizards. And then you go, do I really care that Anthony Davis got traded to the Wizards?
Yeah, does that really change any dynamic?
Do I really give a shit? Like, I'm sitting around here and I'm going, do I really care that the Padres got a bunch of new guys and they're barely winning games? Like,
so I was going to ask you about that. Who do you think had a more successful deadline, the Padres or the Yankees? Because they made an equal amount of moves. I know you did say that the last move that the Padres made, which is Casey Miz, you said that was a pretty interesting move for them. But who do you think got a better end of the deal in terms of trade?
Yeah, I like Casey Mize. I think the Yankees are a really good team. They have a great pitching staff. They really just need to get Aaron Judge right and ready to go. If Aaron Judge if Aaron Judge comes back and he's Aaron Judge, they'll be fine. I don't hate them adding to that lineup, but I thought that was a little bit of a haul that they sent over to Washington. Washington, man, I love what Washington did. You want to talk about who won the trade deadline?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I don't hate what Washington did.
What Washington did. I haven't heard.
I mean, they're stacking that prospect pipeline. Here's the thing I've kind of seen, and Milwaukee's perfected this, right? Willie Adames had a monster year in Milwaukee, and they moved on from him. And at the time, he went to San Francisco, and everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing, Milwaukee? And he has done nothing with San Francisco.
Yeah.
He's just a dead cap at this point. Freddie Peralta. They moved on from Freddie Peralta. Sometimes in baseball, if you know when to move on from a guy and go and get yourself some prospects in running, and Washington's a team that needs to build prospects. They need to build out guys. I think they're really set up well for next year and on. I think they're in a really good place. I really do. I think Baltimore got a good return for Adley Rutschman, but I said what I said. Boston's been the best team in baseball the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And you're giving a team in your division really good players. I'm not exactly sure. Luis Castillo going to the White Sox. I'm not sure if I really care about that one. I love that the White Sox went. Here's the thing. I know I'm a Cub fan, so it's going to sound like I'm shitting on the Sox just to shit on the Sox. But if you're going to go and you're going to say we're competing and we're contenders, and then you go and you get a washed-up Luis Castillo and you get a bunch of fucking guys that don't do shit, the Braves give you a shitty catcher, and then you get some whack-ass outfielder from the Rockies, like... You didn't really do anything. Like, you're still just kind of hoping that your young core continues to build off of you. Yeah, does Luis Castillo, if he comes back and he's anywhere close to pitching like he used to, does that help you get to the playoffs? Sure. But I don't think Seattle trades him to you if he is. Seattle is basically saying, we have a great pitching staff, and this guy's washed up goods. Here you go, because you don't have enough arms. The thing that makes me mad is the Sox have the prospects to go and get a guy.
Yeah.
They have the prospects to go and get a really good player. They played it smart. They wanted to say, hey, to their fan base, we are trying to compete. But they didn't do anything that blew up or rocked the boat in the slightest. I mean, if Luis Castillo comes and he's really good, then I think he helps the Sox. But the Guardians made similar moves. I'm not really moved by a lot of the things. I mean, the Cubs, in my opinion, and my biased opinion, I think the Cubs did the most and the best job at the deadline.
So I think it's time to get into that then, right? So
yeah, let's do it.
We've made 5 moves. I'll let you take the lead on that again, Mr. 162. I do have the football game on right next to me, so just to mark the official start of the NFL season. Starting that right off here, I think Carson Beck might lead it for a touchdown before the first. We'll see. But heading on to the Cubs here, we haven't talked much baseball. Cubs obviously have had one of the more up and down seasons that we've ever remembered watching baseball. But heading into the moment now at the trade deadline, how are you feeling? And tell me about these moves, right? There's 5 moves. What did you think? Again, the Cubs needing hands. Exactly what you said.
Well, so this made me really excited and happy because as a fan, you could just only hope that your GM is watching the same thing you're watching.
Yep.
And last year, the Cubs lost to the Brewers because we ran out of pitching. Simple as that. That's what happened. We ran out of pitching. And this year, we were riddled with injuries. And we're working to get guys back. Our ace is gone for the year, Cade Horton. Justin Steele is sitting in the dugout, but they're still saying he probably is not going to make it back this year. So that's kind of an issue. But we're getting guys back. We had Edward Cabrera come in. Daniel Palencia's had some issues with injuries. Like, these are guys that we need to have healthy. They're going to have pretty healthy arms because they haven't really thrown a whole lot of pitches. Sorry, I fucking overheard. It sounded like a plane was coming through my fucking window. No, so they haven't thrown a lot of pitches this year, which is great, but at the same time, they've had a lot of concerning injuries. So it's good that Jed Hoyer is watching this, and he's saying, I hear you guys, I'm going to go get us a better option. I'm going to get us... That's what it
feels like. Because I was talking to a lot of other people, a lot of my other friends were saying, like, they actually went and got guys that I could have sat here and said, yeah, we needed. Like, yeah, these are good potential 100%. Players to fill in spot. And as you know, the Cubs have one of the better defenses in the league. You can call it top 3. I think they enhance their offense more, and then their defense ultimately is getting stronger. So that's what I'm most excited about.
So they go and they get... Now they have about 7 or 8 guys who can start games. And this goes back to when they brought in David Peterson. This is what the Cubs do really well. They go and they get a guy that's having a bad year on a last place team. They restructure him, and he's been a very quality pitcher. And not only that, what do you look at? David Peterson's playing for the worst defense in baseball. He's a ground ball pitcher. Now you take a guy who's a ground ball pitcher and you put him on the best defense in baseball, and what's the guy doing? Oh, he's pitching really well. It makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
they did the same shit. They went and they got Clay Holmes. Now Clay Holmes is really good because Clay Holmes has been a very effective starter and ace in the Mets rotation, but he's also been one of the best bullpen pitchers in Pittsburgh and the Yankees. So you bring in those two guys who were on the same team in New York, and you got them. Yeah, we had to give up. A top prospect. But you know, we're winning baseball games here. We're not trying to fucking win. I mean, we have enough prospects where we can get rid of 1 or 2.
That's a good way to be, because you want to be fluid. You want to be able to fluctuate your roster in ways that are necessary. Us knowing that the Cubs roster isn't the youngest in the league, so whether it was changes this year or next year or the year after, not knowing if we're going to have a temporary league next year or if it's going to be a late start, that's another big question that we have to fill in with the Cubs. But I think the Cubs have answered enough questions this year, this trade deadline, to really help us out. But what was your favorite move?
Yeah.
What was the number one move for you?
Well, I mean, I like Clay Holmes a lot. I'm excited. He had a freak injury, took a ball to the leg, broke his leg or whatever. He's stretching it out. He'll be back. I don't think it's going to bother him at all. I like Kevin Gausman. I like getting a guy who's gritty. He's got playoff experience. He's a guy that we're going to be able to use to start games in the postseason. He's a rubber arm guy who can throw as many innings as you need him to, and he's a veteran that's not going to get rattled. I think Clay Holmes is my favorite because I think he's the best pitcher that we got. But going from there, we got Tyrone Taylor, who's a really great outfielder in that trade. You know, he's another really good defensive outfielder that we kind of need. You can never have enough of those guys. He's got 10 home runs on the season. I really love Ryan Zefferjon. He's a guy that a lot of people have been high on. He's a swing and miss guy out of the pen. If you've watched the Cubs, you understand that we have way too many left-handers that throw to contact coming out of our bullpen.
Yep.
So adding a right-hander that throws hard and misses bats is going to be really big, and hopefully comes in handy once we get Phil Maton back. And you get Palencia back, and you have options now. You give Craig Counsell, who's one of the best guys at managing pitching, you give that manager an option. You give him options, and you let him you let him grow. You let him. I mean, look at the job he's done. I mean, with all the injuries that we've had, we're still in a position where we're in, and a lot of that's to the credit of Craig Counsell. You know, not a lot of guys get credit, and especially Craig. He gets bashed on when things are bad, but to be honest with you, things haven't been bad a lot with him as manager. And in this situation that we've had with the injuries we've had this year, I've seen teams just kind of destruct with a lot less going on. So I really give Craig a lot of counsel the way he's handled it. But I think the bolstering the pitching staff is really huge when you bring in guys like Gausman, Peterson, and you bring in Clay Holmes. Like those two guys
that are immediate impacts, right? And especially at this point of the season, it's like you need immediate impact. You need someone that we're going to trust heading into the postseason. So I think we're just about there.
Yeah, and you know, we're just about there. But they also have another guy that they've gotten in from the Marlins. They go and they got what's his name, Braxton. What was it, Braxton Garrett?
Braxton Garrett, yes.
Yeah, Braxton Garrett. So he was really good a year or so ago. He was like 9-7, had a really good season, but then he had a really bad injury, and he's trying to work his way back now. I'm okay with that, but you know, that is a Cubs type of deal where they go and get a guy that's kind of damaged goods and we turn him into a top pitcher. And I'm glad that we didn't sit around and let Jameson Taillon kind of keep losing us games. We did that with Ben Brown. Now look, Ben Brown has turned into a fantastic pitcher. He's been hurt quite a bit. But like last year, when Shota and Ben Brown were struggling, we just sat around and let them kill the team.
Finish games like that.
Yeah. And now I'm glad to say Ben Brown and Shota are some of the most complete pitchers that we have in the rotation. But it's good because we're going into the playoffs. We have a guy that's been an ace in a rotation before. Matthew Boyd is coming around, starting to look like he needs to be. Obviously, our hearts are always going to be heavy with Justin Steele and Cade Horton and what this pitching staff really could be with those two full strength.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've added more and more depth, and going forward, the Cubs have a shot, man. The Cubs have a shot.
Yeah, where do you expect the Cubbies to finish? I mean, give me some predictions here. You don't have to give me exact record number, but just tell me where you expect them to be come playoff time. Don't let me know about how far they can make it or where they can go, but just let me know.
Yeah, they're going to win 90. They're going to win 95, 96 games. I mean, they'll win about the same amount of games that they did last year.
You think what's the expectation of that or likeliness of them hitting 100? Do you think that's beyond?
No, I don't think we're a 100-win team. I think realistically, I think Milwaukee might be the only team to win 100 games. I could see the Dodgers shutting some guys down and being fine, winning their division with like 96 games. I mean, they're really just looking at the postseason. Atlanta's kind of slowed down a little bit. I think that's going to turn into I think we might have a really fun postseason push with Atlanta and Philly at the end. I think Philly might be able to catch them if they keep playing the way that they're playing.
That's gonna be fascinating. Yeah, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Anything you got left to finish off baseball here before we get into the NFL talk here?
Yeah, I mean, enjoy it. I'm surely going to enjoy it. It's going to be a tough winter. We might not have baseball next year. A lot of people don't think we are.
Yeah.
So I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this. But look, I'm looking at the Cubs to beat the Brewers. We got to get over that hump. That's what I'm thinking of. And will we beat the Dodgers? I don't know. I don't think we can. I'm not going to look at this sweep that we had over the Dodgers and say this means that we're going to beat them. But I will say this. The Cubs have significant championship and postseason experience on their team. Yeah. You bring in a guy like Gausman. You have champions like Bregman and Dansby. You have guys that have been there, that have done it before, that have gone through the ringers of a postseason. The Cubs have a team that can compete. And I think when you have a team like the Cubs who, the sky is the limit, you got to watch them. And I think the Dodgers have their eye on them as well. I think the Cubs would give the Dodgers a bigger fight. Oh, and also, we have an MVP candidate on our team.
Exactly, yeah, that's another thing we have to... So today, actually, PCA they got updated. He is minus 130 to win the MVP, which is... I'm pretty stoked for him because you can tell it's on his mind. He's not rooting for it fully, but you can tell it's on his mind. He talks about it in some post conferences, things like that. So that would be pretty exciting to have an MVP here back in Chicago.
Yeah, and this is just my case because I've watched every game that we played. And back when we were losing 10 games in a row and it was 34, Cubs were 34 and 34. Pete was the only guy getting us out of the slump. I mean, we're still seeing guys in slumps right now. Dansby's still in the slump. Bregman's kind of coming out a little bit now. Happ still can't hit the side of a barn. I mean, we still see guys that are in slumps right now. PCA literally carried this team out of the fucking hole.
I know.
And then once the pitching got going again, PCA was still the heart and soul of this offense. And so this guy deserves a most valuable player because I think the Cubs are our last place team without PCA.
Totally understand. And you know what? Fair assessment there. I think it's time to talk some NFL.
Let's do it.
Time to talk some pigskin here. We're going to go over a few random tidbits that I've just learned that I thought were interesting that I just want to get your ear on. And then we're going to go over the top 3 teams that you think are going to fall, meaning get worse in their rankings versus their team, or bottom 3 teams to rise, teams that are pretty much doomed to start the season that you think will end up being a lot better. And then we'll go through our division winners and losers. We're not going to rank the entire division. We're just going to say who we believe is going to win it, who we think is going to lose it, and then we'll make sure to keep those for you guys. But starting off here, I think the most interesting part of this week, even though there was a lot, was that Aaron Donald had a workout with the Rams with an intent to re-sign. So it's officially started. The mumblings that everyone had about him coming back officially have begun. It's not 100% that he'll come back, but after the recent addition of Myles Garrett, that defense, and Trent McDuffie, that defense is ready to bring home Aaron Donald. And that's championship or bust technically. If you bring Aaron Donald back, he was in for a workout. How do you feel about that?
I think the Rams should fuck off. I hate the
Is
fucking
it a Los
Rams.
Angeles thing, or is it just the Rams?
Well, I mean, the Rams beat the Bears last year.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of over it. I'm kind of over the loading up on your team. I'm over Matthew Stafford. I've dealt with I've dealt with this motherfucker since I was a fucking school kid. I was in junior high. Like, I've had to watch Matthew Stafford. I'm so over him. I'm over the weekend at Bernie's off seasons where this motherfucker's dead, and then they have him fucking resurrected on week 1. I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with fucking Puka Nacua biting bitches in vans. I'm tired of Myles Garrett and his hot Asian Olympian wife. I'm just over it. I'm over these guys winning. I'm ready to move on. I'm over fucking McVay. I'm over this the Los Angeles is the best sports town. I'm just kind of over it all. I'm just done with it. And I hope they lose. I hope Matthew Stafford gets hurt. I hope Myles Garrett gets hurt. Yeah,
I also hope they lose.
I hope Puka Nacua gets arrested and he's done for good.
That'd be exciting. Well, heading into the Bears made a pretty good splash here. They went ahead and signed right tackle Darnell Wright to a 4-year deal. That is a $116 million contract extension. He is the highest paid right tackle in NFL history, and he got the most, I believe. So he got the 4-year extension. He had the most guaranteed money, which was around $90 million, most of any tackle, let alone most offensive linemen. So that was pretty exciting. That means that Ben Johnson, a offensive lineman-driven coach, found his guy. He has his Penei Sewell technically. So that part is, I'm stoked about that we paid him, because the Bears had some money left to spend, and you want to lock up this guy. He was in his 4th season, so we technically could have waited a year until he was in his 5th, but why not pay the man now and let him feel confident? And I'm excited for that, because I think that also builds good team culture, where it's like, look at us investing in the offense. Look at us investing in players that we drafted finally, that we could take. The last player that was, I think, extended over $100 million, I believe, was DJ Moore, but then before that was Kyle Fuller in 2014, was the last Bear to get extended. So on this big of a 4-year deal. So that's impressive coming out of Bears camp. I'm really excited about that. I don't know who other players are going to get deals, but good for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a team that you think you're going to compete and you think you have your franchise quarterback, we've seen this happen with teams like Brady and the Patriots and Manning and the Colts and Broncos. If you're a team that you think you have your guy and you think this guy's going to win you a Super Bowl or maybe multiple Super Bowls, then where your money should be invested in is going to be the offensive line.
The trenches, baby.
The trenches. Defensive line, offensive line. And then you let Caleb make stars. Because Caleb is good enough where he's going to make stars. Right? I mean, he's got enough guys on the team, enough talent on that roster, on that offense, where he's going to be able to find touchdowns still. I mean, to be honest with you, DJ Moore did not find the end zone. I mean, I know everyone thinks of him in the Green Bay game, but DJ Moore did not find the end zone a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's not really taking a whole lot from our strategy there. A lot of people felt DJ Moore was getting pushed out of the corpse.
And even though he was the most dominant wide receiver on that team, it doesn't mean that his plays can't be filled. Now, his individual plays, winning games against Green Bay, will never be forgotten. But at the end of the day,
I will argue that he was the most dominant. Roma Dunze was going to have a massive year in touchdowns and receiving yards before he got hurt.
He started off 3 straight games, 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
I believe it was 5 catches each deal the first 3 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Roma Dunze I thought was the most dominant. Now, once he got hurt, yes, you're correct. DJ Moore stepped in as the veteran, was the more dominant receiver, even though Luther Burden had moments. I think Luther Burden has a huge opportunity this
100%.
year.
Yeah, I can't wait for
I think he has a huge opportunity this
his
year.
expectations become. Okay, so talking about another wide receiver that got paid, we're going to talk about this, and then we'll finally get into some more team talks. Zay Flowers, wide receiver of the Ravens, went ahead and signed a 4-year, $140 million contract extension with the Baltimore Ravens. That is now the tied for 4th highest paid receiver in the NFL, with likes to Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra. This guy's getting paid as best as the top 5 receivers in the league, and it's hard to even say that he cracks top 10. This is part of the NFL that is, I'm not going to say it is part of the problem, because technically the NFL, there is no problems right now. Everyone's making money, everyone's having fun, running backs are getting paid. That's a really good, exciting part about the sport. That means that the sport's in a healthy place. I just feel like Zay Flowers didn't prove much at all to get 4 years, $140 million. I don't think there's another team out there that would have sat there and looked at him and be like, okay, 4 years. I think at most this guy was a 2-year, 3-year extension guy making under $100 million. 4 years for $140 million at the same AAV as a guy like Justin Jefferson. I'm sorry, Zay, but that's just a bit ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of guys out there, contract-wise, that I think are making fair money. I think a lot of guys are being overpaid.
Right? Good point.
I think a lot of markets are flooded right now, and I think a lot of guys are making a fuck ton of money, and that is why all our leagues right now are probably going to go to a lockout once we get there, because those guys do not want to lose that money because they're making more, insanely more than what they ever would be able to bring in. Baltimore is in a weird place. They're a team I have my eye on, and it's not leaving, because they could do some shit that's going to rock the league. I mean, they get rid of their greatest coach in their franchise. He gets let go because they blame him for the team falling apart, but they were dealing with a ton of injuries. He goes to the Giants. You bring in a guy that has not won in the NFL. Has he even been a head coach anywhere? Or has he just been Harbaugh's assistant?
I think he's just been Harbaugh's guy.
Well, let's see what Jesse Minter.
Minter.
Yeah, let's see what Jesse Minter has done. Head coach experience. I'm gonna dry up a lake.
He was a coordinator for Chargers, right?
Oh yeah, he's you know what he's done? He's been the interim head coach for one game.
Okay, it's enough experience.
So that's really cool.
And then their OC is Declan Doyle.
Yeah, Declan Doyle. He was the DC of Vanderbilt. He was with the Chargers. He was with the Michigan. So yeah, I mean, but that doesn't. You bring in a guy who's a defensive-minded coach, and you have a quarterback, a franchise quarterback, mind you, that we were talking about trading him. People were saying he might be unhappy. I don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, and like you said, the Ravens are in a weird position because they're easily in win now mode. But how much can they give up in win now, knowing that Lamar, another season or two of Lamar, and they might have to make the decision finally if they have to move on.
Yeah, look, dude, like if you're Lamar and you want to go, and this season does not go well for you,
yeah,
and the Texans have a bad fucking year, you have the opportunity to do something hilarious. I won't even say hilarious, scary.
Yeah,
you could, if you're Lamar, you could go and say, trade me to Houston, have C.J. Stroud be your quarterback for a year, have Houston send you a fucking draft pick for the first round. I mean, and he's the quarterback of that Houston team. Oh God, that would be terrifying.
It's a mess.
But it's just a mess because and you know, a lot of people are looking at Baltimore. A lot of people think they're going to go like 15, 14 wins this year.
So they have a good roster. I'm not going to say they don't have a good roster because anytime Lamar's playing, he's a former MVP, 2-time MVP. So you got to give him the props for them being able to commit. Last year he had a lot of injuries. They even had that lucky game against winning against the Bears where they had Tyler Huntley starting. It's things like that. They lost it to Justin Tucker missed. It was a backup guy that missed the field goal. So then Pittsburgh advanced to the playoffs. But I think it's a very good moment to segue into our next topic here, which is let's talk about the 3 teams that you think are going to fall. Doesn't matter how. It could be the 3rd worst team in the league. Convince me why they're going to be the worst team in the league. Just tell me 3 teams that you think are going to fall from standings, from player rankings. Just you don't even need to give me a reason. Just tell me who in your right mind you think deserves to fall.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's right there. I think they're doomed to implode. I think they bring in a asshole. There's no real way to fucking explain who Aaron Rodgers is. Seems way more interested talking about Fauci on Pat McAfee than he is playing football. I don't think Pittsburgh has a great roster around him. So I think Pittsburgh, and also if Joe Burrow is healthy this year, I think Cincinnati could win that division.
Yeah.
I think they can win that
agree.
division.
I agree.
If Joe
And
Burrow
their
stays
defense has
healthy.
gotten better. Hell yeah.
Well, dude, and not only that, you think about the collapses that defense had. If they wash up those collapses, I mean, even with the Burrow injury, they were a 10-win team last year. You know, they lost 5 or 6 games on defensive collapses. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to fall out, and I think they're going to be kind of. I don't really see them doing much. I don't see Aaron Rodgers having this great season. So I think that he's going to regress a little bit. I want to pump the brakes a little bit on the New Orleans Saints. There's a lot of people that are blowing Tyler Shuck right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there with the Saints yet. Now, I don't know if the Saints, I don't know if they're a good team. So I don't know if me saying the Saints are going to be on a downfall counts, but a lot of people are talking about them like they're going to compete for the division. I don't think they're going to be close.
Yeah.
I don't think them or Carolina are going to be close. I'm not going to count Carolina because I don't think Carolina was good last year. They were 8-9.
Yeah, that's a this is a normal topic. I agree.
Yeah. So I on the teams that will rise, I do put Atlanta there. I think Atlanta is going to be pretty damn good this year, or at least better than they were last year. I'm gonna
last team to fall. What do you got?
The last team to fall, and this is hard for me to say without sounding super biased, but I think Green Bay is going to have a rough year. I don't think they're going to be awful. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be around.
We're not saying like non-playoffs or terrible team. It's literally just in your opinion, what team looked worse than last year.
But I think if you're talking about I think a lot of people still think the Packers are going to win 12, 13 games every year. I see them more as maybe a 9-win team.
Yeah.
I think the Packers have found that 7 spot the last couple of years. They've snuck in. I think they don't sneak in this year. I think there's a lot of other teams that could sneak in front of them.
I'm with you there.
I think San Francisco is going to be better. I think 3 teams out of that division are going to go to the playoffs. I think Seattle's going to fall just a little bit, but still be a playoff team, if that makes sense. I think that you probably are looking at the Cowboys having a much better year. I think it'll be harder for the Packers to make that 7th spot with a bad year. I think this is a pivotal year for Jordan Love.
I agree.
But I think
still making a lot of money. Still on a prove-it kind of regimen, even though he already got paid.
And I think it's going to be harder to win. I think the Bears are a lot better. I think. Look, I've told you this since we've been talking about it for 6 weeks now. Kyler Murray on the Vikings scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
That is
to believe it, but that's a good combination. At the end of the day, for Kevin O'Connell, Kyler was a pretty good matchup for him.
Look, I watched the Vikings turn Tavares Jackson into a playoff quarterback.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is a guy that he won games in Arizona. He played Call of Duty before playing.
And they never really played meaningful games either.
Never played meaningful games, and you also don't. He has Justin Jefferson now. So, just throw to his vicinity, and then he's a mobile quarterback, and then the Vikings have a Brian Flores defense. Scares the fuck out of me.
Okay. I'll tell you about the teams that I believe are going to fall here. I'm going to start off with the 49ers. I think their luck has run out. I think every single year they face the injuries, and they're the darling, they're the Cinderella, they're the team that's just like, our coach makes us work so hard. But with no Kittle, a lot of injuries happening already before preseason's even begun, I unfortunately think the 49ers are going to lose a lot, more than they did last year. Again, not saying they're going to be a non-playoff team. I just think they're going to look a lot worse in terms of their roster fit and how many games they win. Next is Patriots. I think Patriots for me are just an obvious one. Harder schedule. I think they have a lot more to work for after the whole Vrabel news going in this offseason. I think every team's going to look at them as unserious, even though they were a Super Bowl contender. I just think that's a simple one. Again, they could make playoffs and surprise people, but within that division, I do see the Bills stealing back that first seed again. And then I see the Lions. I see the Lions as that team. I don't have much of a reason for the Lions. And again, this is a little bit more unbiased. I just think the Lions also have had so much luck in the past. Last year was a big down year for them. I'm expecting a lot of similarities this year than it was last year. with the fact that the Bears are going to play better now against the Lions than they did last year. Last year, both games against the Lions, we ended up losing by like 25 points because Dan Campbell wanted to shove it down our throats. I don't think it's going to be that easy for them this year. I think I could expect them making playoffs. I could expect them I could expect them second in the division potentially. But I think that's just another team that I see falling more after they won only, I think, 9 games or 10 games last season. I could see them being more around the 9-8 season at the end of the season. That's kind of where I see. But going into the bottom 3 teams to rise now, Danny, that's what I want to hear from you because I can tell you're a little bit excited to talk about this one. So tell me 3 teams that you think are underappreciated heading into the season.
Before we do that, can I ask you a question?
Oi, go ahead.
Lions win 9 games. Do they fire Dan Campbell?
Oh, it's been a really tough question because I've heard about this, but I do think they don't fire Dan Campbell. I think there's a lot of other situations that they'll be able to fix. I think their defense is after Terrion Arnold, I think their defense is just built on branches instead of tree trunks. Like they're built on branches, and they know that one move is going to wreck their entire defense. But I think as long as they have that offensive line and as long as they have that defensive line, Dan Campbell's the only whisperer for those players. So I think they're going to go ahead and keep him. Jared Goff is still in contract. Amon-Ra. They got a young Jameson. They just give Jahmyr Gibbs the contract. Like I think they want to win it with Dan. I think it's kind of what my expectation is.
Okay.
I just it's hard to see them leaving from Dan because Dan he's built so much influence in this roster, and it doesn't mean that it's his fault from poor coaching. It could just be a roster thing. It could just be that the roster isn't good enough, and occasionally that happens.
100%. I get it. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Also, the Lions before Dan Campbell is kind of nightmare. So
yeah, so I don't think they want to enter that, especially with a roster that is good. Like they have a good offense.
Yeah.
You can't argue against those offensive pieces they have. But okay, three teams to rise. I'm actually pretty excited to talk about this because you already mentioned one of mine, but you mentioned mine on the opposite list. So I want to go through what your teams are to rise.
So I like Dallas.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
I like Dallas. I think Philly is going to be a better team, but win record-wise, they didn't really have a bad year last year. So I can't really put them on either list. But I think Philly's going to be just fine. I think they're going to be fine without A.J. Brown. I think they're going to have more of an identity this year without him.
Yeah, totally.
Less drama. So I think Dallas will be right there. I'm not believing the Giants hype. I think the Giants will be I think the Giants might be a lot more organized. I don't think they're going to be better. I just don't think Jackson Dart is the kind of guy that's going to keep himself on the football field for very long.
For him, right? Yeah, and it's good worry. I think it's worry that people ought to be having for a player like him.
I just don't think he's that good. I think he's mobile. I think he catches people off guard. But I think once you have more tape on him, I don't think he's that great of a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think you're comparing him to a lot of other quarterbacks that he came out with, and in that sense, maybe you can give him some grace. But I think the Cowboys have everything they need. If their defense is just a little better, I think they're going to be pretty good. I am interested to see Atlanta. I think Atlanta could win that division. I think they got a lot of weapons. I know they got Tua, and a lot of people aren't high on Tua, but I think they got the right guy, the right coach that's coming in that knows how to win with this team. I do, and I think he's the kind of guy who could get. I mean, look what he's done in Cleveland with what he's had to work with there.
Yeah.
I think with Tua, if he could find a way to just get the ball out of Tua's hands, and Tua just, this is Tua's last chance, so there's got to be some urgency there. So I think Atlanta could shock some people. I unfortunately don't think Tampa Bay is going to be much better. I think this is the last time we see Todd Bowles as a head coach of a football team.
I couldn't agree more.
I think he's done at the end of the year. And then Cincinnati. I think the Bengals could win that division.
Okay, I like the Cincinnati pick because you know what, they kind of flew under my radar. I didn't remember them being, but they did have a really impressive offseason with Dexter Lawrence, and the offense is clicking again. But I like those picks. Okay, so you had Bengals, Cowboys, Falcons.
Yep.
Okay, I like the Falcons pick. We're going to talk more about the Falcons once we get into each division here, but my 3 teams, I had the Titans. I had the Titans because I think a team that is projected to win 3 games is going to look a lot better than a team that is projected to win 3 games, and a lot of that is based on Cam Ward. A lot of that is based on Tate, their first-round pick, their defense, Jeffrey Simmons, but I think they have the right front office and the right coaching staff to help them get there. So I do expect them winning more games. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win they're going to become a 10-win team. Definitely not. But I could definitely see them hovering the 6-win, 5-win, and them saying that this is an impressive season, a success for their own. My next team here is going to be the Saints. I think the Saints might be the best team in that division only because of Tyler Shuck. I think Tyler Shuck, unfortunately, has looked, and I say that unfortunately because you brought it in a point where it's like you don't see much. I saw so much from him in the last 6 games of last season. I saw him beat Carolina. I saw him beat the Falcons. And again, these are at the point where the teams have kind of already given up, even though Carolina was in the playoff push. I think the Saints have a really good roster, and I think after this season comes through, they got Alvin Kamara. They signed, I think it was not Isaiah Pacheco. They signed another running back. That I
think it was Isaiah Pacheco, wasn't it?
I think Isaiah Pacheco's in Detroit.
Let's see.
I forgot who the running back is, but again, I think they have one of those rosters that's pretty sleepy good. And let me tell you this: so the Bucks look like turmoil. They look like
it was Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne. There's another player that was a Pro Bowler. A guy that led the league, almost led the league in touchdowns last season. So I look at the Bucks as a team that look like the gates to hell. Right? That team looks like an absolute mess right now. No Mike Evans. Chris Godwin had a career-threatening injury that he still just got back from. He only played 2 games at the end of last season. Their coaching staff, Vita Vea wants out. Like Baker Mayfield didn't get a contract. I think that everything is going to weigh in on them, and I think they're going to lose a lot less games, and it's going to look a lot worse for the contract situation for Baker next season. Going into the other one here, that is. Who is it? Oh, the Falcons. Again, the Falcons QB situation. We don't know how that's going to work out. Penix or Tua, no, either way, we've seen those 2 guys perform even when they're healthy, and even at their healthiest, they're not playoff potential kind of players. So sure. I think, unfortunately for them, I think Shuck plays out just them having a good QB. No, the Saints don't have a great offense. They don't have a lot of pass catchers. They have Chris Olave. They gave him a deal, but I think that's the only thing that could pull them back. And then Carolina, I mean, listen, Carolina, I'm always going to doubt Carolina. They could prove me wrong all they want. I'm totally fine with that. I like seeing Carolina play well because that's an exciting team. I haven't grown up watching a lot of good competitive Carolina games other than the Super Bowl run that they won, that they lost actually. But
you should be happy.
Yeah.
You should be happy because I have a very different opinion of Carolina.
You're high on Carolina?
No. I hate the Panthers.
Okay.
The first time the Bears made the playoffs in my life, I had to watch Steve Smith drag his nutsack all over Charles Tillman in Soldier Field in the playoffs, and
that's rough.
Let me tell you, that was hard to watch.
Yeah. And then my last team here is the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are definitely a team that's going to they're going to exceed expectations only because their division is good, but I do think they have the best offense in the division, hands down. Their defense got really good. They had 2 first-round picks. They both went on defense. They got the best safety. They got the 3rd best defensive lineman. Like, they look pretty darn good, and I like what Schottenheimer did last year. For a guy that was doubted so much and had no idea, like everyone's just like he was the kind of hire that you want to save money on. I think the opposite now. I think he led a pretty good team that had Dak out most of the year, that had CD out most of the year, that got George Pickens to resurrect his career. Like, this guy helped George Pickens become a completely different player. So that part I'm really excited about the Cowboys, and I think I have a small piece of me that wants to see the Cowboys win. I have a friend that's a huge Cowboys fan. I also watched the Knicks win the championship, so part of me is like, if the Cowboys win it, we'll get a pretty similar type of championship parade and atmosphere. Sure. That would be cool. Day in, day out, I want to see the Bears win it because the Bears have a good roster, but the Cowboys would be pretty darn fucking exciting to see.
Yeah, I'd kill myself if the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. So... Yeah, I'd kill myself if I have to watch Jerry Jones hold a
let's go
fucking
Cowboys, maybe.
I would if them or the Chiefs win again, it's gonna be rough.
All right, let's get to my favorite part of the show right now. We're gonna go through each division because I just love doing this. We did this for the World Cup as well. We did this for the basketball season. Let's go through each division. Tell me who's gonna win it, who's gonna lose it. This is actually going to be a lot easier than you think, right? Because a lot of teams this year have a worse team and have a best team in their division. So let's start off with AFC East there, Danny. We got the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. I think we can agree on who the worst is.
Oh, I don't know if we could agree. I think
we can. I think
it's going to be a chase to 1 win with the Jets and the Dolphins.
I think the Jets will be better than Dolphins only because the Jets have pass catchers and they have a defense. Like the Dolphins traded away Jalen Waddle. Their top wide receiver right now is Malik Washington.
You're going to tell me the team that hasn't had an interception? Rory's won 2 Masters, and before the Jets have gotten an interception. And you're going to tell me they have a defense?
I get it. Listen, I get it. But at the end of the day, like they can't do worse. They can't do another season of no interceptions.
No,
the Dolphins can easily with no defense.
Miami brought in a Boston College former head coach, which was the strangest hire I've ever seen from an NFL team. I'm going to say just because Miami wants to be absolutely dog shit, and the Jets,
they want to tank.
I think the Jets kind of want to win maybe a couple games more than they did last year. I'm gonna say Miami's gonna. It's gonna be tough to see if Miami can win a game.
That's kind of what I was thinking, man. I think they might end up being the worst, and that's no shade to Malik Willis, but at the end of the day.
I mean, 100% shade to Malik Willis.
Malik Willis for 17 games. I'd rather see him succeed than see him suck. Because at the end of the day, I like seeing a resurrection story kind of thing. But can you do it for 17 games? He did it for 3.
Week 4, I think Quinn Ewers is playing.
they said that on I think the Bill Simmons podcast where they're just like they think Malik Willis is going to play 4 or 5 weeks, and then they're like, we have to drop this guy.
I mean, do you remember how bad he was in Tennessee? He was so fucking bad.
Terrible. And they the next season they went out to go and get another QB. And
dude, it's just so hard to. It's so hard to say the Jets are going to be better than anyone because Geno Smith is done. The Jets are done.
Let's just call it the Dolphins. Let's call it the Dolphins because I do think the Dolphins.
I agree with you. I agree with you though because I think there's a difference in mentality there. I think the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are aiming for 0 wins because I think they want to lose as many as they can and go get themselves a Manning versus the Jets. I think the Jets kind of want to do a little bit better. I think the Jets aren't in it for a Manning. If they have to get Dante Moore, they'd be happy with that too. Even though he literally went back to college to not be a Jet.
Yeah. Who wins the division?
I think who wins the division?
Yeah.
Who? I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go the Jets or the Patriots. The Jets winning the division.
Gonna be a fucking
I think the Patriots. I think it's kind of weird what they did with the whole Joe Brady situation.
Yeah.
I know Vrabel. You know what? Everyone's. The more I'm seeing about this Vrabel situation, the more I'm saying there's no way that Diana Rossini's husband didn't know because there's a whole fucking.
So much history.
There's more footage of Rossini and Vrabel doing things together as a couple than there is One Piece episodes. So I think at this point I think it's no one's surprised by what's happening. I think getting AJ Brown is next level shit. I think their defense is going to be just as good as it was. I think the Patriots. It's going to be a tight race, but I think the Patriots are going to win the division again this year.
Okay. Well, good talk there. I think heading into the AFC North is going to be one of the harder ones to go through. Sure. We have the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, and Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we know who the worst is going to be. I mean, I'd be pretty impressed to see the Steelers be that bad as the Browns. But I think we both can agree Browns likely the worst team in that division. I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to resurrect his career or anything like that. I don't think Sanders is going to become an MVP. So I think Browns worst. Now, do the Steelers make a case for being the best next to the Bengals and Ravens?
No, I think Bengals win the division.
Bengals win the division. I would like to agree with you in terms of offensive push, and they still have the coach. In my eyes, Zach Taylor is like the most questionable type of coach, but no longer in the division because I think Jesse Minter has a lot more to prove. But I do like the pick. I'm going to agree with you on the Bengals here. Going to mark Bengals and mark Browns. All right, sir, going into AFC South. So we are starting with AFC because I think the NFC is a little bit more competitive. But AFC South, we have Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans. Who do you think is going to be the worst here? I think it's possible to say Titans. I think if we see a bad enough Colts team without Daniel Jones playing the entire season, or I think potentially the Titans have one of the more successful seasons under a new coaching staff ever if they could end up not being last in division this year. But Unfortunately, I think I might have to bank on Titans still being last here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Titans. I'm going to go Colts won't be much better.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say
Do you think best defense in the league? Do you think that can propel
Jaguars,
them enough?
Texans. I think Texans win the division.
Do you think Texans win the division? I'd like to agree with you. I think it's mainly because if C.J. Stroud can just place a good system quarterback for most of the year, for at least 10 games, including one playoff game, then man, they'll be studs. They'll be totally fine.
Yeah, I think.
All right, brother.
I think there's not much going to change. I unfortunately don't really see. I don't see the Colts being very good. I think Daniel Jones.
I agree. I think last year was a kind of a fluke for like the first 8 weeks, them going 8-0 and everything. It was just more so cool to see that after Jim Irsay passed away. Last team in the AFC, we have the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers. Again, we can kind of understand who the worst team is going to be here, only for purposes of rookie QB, going through good draft, a new coach. I think the Raiders easily are going to be the worst team in this division, only because the other three are potentially going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a hard one.
This is a hard one. I agree, because what do you expect of Patrick Mahomes when he comes back? Do you think the Broncos and even Bo Nix's injury when he comes back, do you think they're going to be a tight piece? They got Jalen Waddle, very good player. They drafted a running back high. Like, I think all three of these teams, including the Chargers, have a pretty good chance because the Chargers
they also got the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, like I think this is a really tough
Kenneth
one. So
Walker.
Danny, who do you think here? I want to dive into it here. If I had to pick myself, I would probably end up picking Broncos, only because they got stronger. But a lot of that depends on Bo Nix's injury health. We don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be available necessarily week 1, but that's not going to stop them from winning 12.
I think Chargers.
I like the Chargers.
I think the Chargers made a lot of additions, and I think the Chargers would have won the division last year if they had a better offensive line. If everyone didn't get hurt on that offensive line, they would have been in a better situation. Yeah, because that's the biggest thing is that you got to protect the QB, like we were saying earlier. If you can't, then you struggle to win games. Even then, they won a lot of games, right? You got to be proud of the way the Chargers faced last year, and big props to Justin Herbert, my favorite fantasy QB, because he's the only QB that you can get in the 8th or 9th round when you already got your starters in, and he'll get you 20 a game easily, bro. I fucking love Justin Herbert. So I'll say the Chargers.
Okay. Heading into the NFC now, baby. Let's get it with the NFC East. We got Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders. This is going to be an interesting one on who you think the worst is going to be as well, because if you're banking on a team being the worst, that means them taking a pretty massive step back where they are mentally.
Yeah.
And I think that's between easily the Giants and Commanders. If either of those teams is last in the division, that's a major step back in their organization.
I'm going to have to say the Giants are going to be
Giants end up being worst. Okay, and they had a pretty big offseason, as you may know. They did have a lot of new players coming in, new coaching staff, Matt Nagy, Jim Harbaugh. They are looking good in the future, but let's just say that maybe this year isn't the year yet.
Look, I don't know if Harbaugh is going to bring that much pizzazz to this team. I don't know if the two dipshits that they have on offense are going to make them a championship caliber team.
Yeah.
If Jaden Daniels is healthy, Commanders could compete for a division title. Easily. They have the roster to do it. So Jaden Daniels just has to stay healthy. I think Commanders will. I think if Jaden Daniels is not healthy, the Giants will be third place. Commanders will be last place. If Jaden Daniels is healthy, I think they probably slot in there at third, close to second. I think Philly and Dallas will battle for the division. My heart's telling me Dallas, but Sirianni's got that shit on lock. I think Philly's going to win the division.
Philly wins the division. I would agree with you there. I want to pick Dallas for the sake of picking a fun team, but it's hard to pick against the Eagles when Philadelphia obviously is such a strong team.
Yeah.
When Philly plays the Cowboys, Philly's probably going to win both those games. That's going to be a big push for them in the division. So I agree with you. We got Eagles winning it, Giants losing it. Looking a lot like last year. Next up here, we got our very own Midwestern NFC North. Yep. Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings, go. I have my pick for who's winning it. I have my pick for who's winning it, and it's not purely based on fact. It's not being biased. I truly just think that the Bears have the best roster fit, and in terms for growth and their mindset, Ben Johnson said really, really well at his press conference that we are the number one team for regression. Everyone's looking at the Bears right now for regression. Cover Madden athlete, boom. Winning 11 games, winning a big playoff game, boom. Players leaving, DJ Moore leaving, players on injury, defense is still not there, boom. I still think this team's going to come in smoking hot. Even if this is one of those divisions that you can win 11 games and win it by half a game. You can literally win the division by owning half a game. I think that means a lot to us. I think we're going to play a lot better against these Packers-Lions games this year than we did last year. I think I'm rooting here for Bears. You could call me biased if you want, but I do believe that. I do believe Bears are continuously in the Ben Johnson era going to own this division.
Yep. Lions lost a key player on defense.
Yes.
I don't think the Lions got much better on defense. If anything, I think they might have gotten worse. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a year older.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff. Look, we talk about Stafford, the wheels falling off of Stafford. At some point, it's got to do it for Jared Goff too, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, this guy's been playing out of his mind now for 3 years, and
how lucky can you be? You can't be completely.
Well,
lucky
I wouldn't say lucky.
Year.
I wouldn't say lucky, but it's coming to a point now where it's like the regression has to happen at some point because he's getting older, and I know some guys get better with age, but he's just been having such good numbers that at some point that's got to come down just a little bit.
I agree, man.
I think ultimately Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay, they're going to be right around each other.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to be 5-12 in this division. Like last place very well could be 9-8 again. I think the Bears.
It's a tough one to pick.
I think the Bears. No, I think the Bears will win. I do.
Yeah.
I think the Bears have a solid offensive line. I want to see the changes that they made if they could do well. But I think they drafted really well as on the offensive line. I think they have a great tight end room. I think defensively they got a lot better. I think Thieneman's a stud. So Dennis Allen's got another year working with this defense. I think it's really built for us to win again.
I feel that way too, man.
So I think I think this North team could easily have 3 teams in the playoffs.
Who loses it? Who do you think loses the division? I'd like to say Vikings only because they have the highest chance to lose it. I think they are, again, the team that has to prove it. Like, we could sit here and say Kyler's a really good match, but until he plays week 1 and shows me that he throws 230 yards, including 100 yards to Justin Jefferson, unless I see that, then I'm not immediately going to say he's the best quarterback, because the other 2 options are Jordan Love and Jared Goff. Like, he's got to play better than one of those guys for him to not get last in this division.
Yeah, I mean, with Minnesota, you're really relying on not just one guy to step up. You're relying on a couple guys to step up that they just don't have. Defensively, they're going to be fine, but I mean, they were great defensively last year, and they didn't really. They were great defensively last year, and it didn't win them a lot more games. So ultimately, they need to be good offensively as well. And I don't know. I don't know where Justin Jefferson's mindset is right now. I don't know what the. It does not sound like the whole J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray competition's breeding a good relationship.
No, right? Yeah.
It sounds a bit awkward. Brian Flores is the kind of guy that, it kind of has to feel not great having him on your staff, because he's a guy that if things are going south and the Vikings defense is playing well, they might just make him the head coach.
Yeah.
So and if that happens, there's a lot of these bad rebuilding teams that have placeholder coaches in there that if McConnell's a free agent, we will see what happened with McConnell that happened with Ben Johnson, where you'll see the Dolphins, you'll see the Jets, you'll see all these teams that are drafting quarterbacks next year throw bags at O'Connell. I think the Vikings are probably a safe bet at last place.
Oh, okay, so we're going to roll with the Vikings. I just think, again, you're right, safe bet. It's hard to put Detroit here because then you're kind of banking on the idea that Detroit takes a huge leap back, whereas they could easily take a leap forward. But 2 more divisions left. We got NFC South. This one is going to be a little tricky. It's just Tell me who you think for shits and giggles, really, because this is a hard one. But Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and Bucks. I did say that the Saints were going to win the division. I have a feeling that the most logical choice could be the Falcons. Just if Tua could put together a season, even if Penix can play 8 games and they play all right, Falcons will have a really good-ass team going into it. They did just lose their starting defensive lineman to an ACL tear, so that part does suck. But you can make an argument for any of these teams. Tell me why it should be the team that you choose. Huh?
Yeah, I think it'll be Buccaneers.
Okay.
I think the Buccaneers will squeak in at 9-8, get their ass beat, and fire Todd Bowles.
I like the pick. I'll knock it down with you. So I don't feel like taking the Saints just yet. But who loses this division? This is also
I think it's Panthers. I think it's Panthers. I think this is the year the Bryce Young experiment's over.
Oh, how awesome would that be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to finally sit here and be like, oh, thank God that shit's over. We had to watch that shit for years. Okay, Panthers lose it. NFC.
I also don't think the Panthers got better.
I don't think so either.
The Panthers were weirdly confident. They went 8-9 and they sat there like they were a 14-win team.
No,
it's like the fuck are you doing, dude?
A bit weird and off-putting the way that they felt like last year was a huge success, even though it could have been. I'm not gonna say it's not a huge success, but different than the way we operate. NFC West, baby. This is gonna be an exciting one. We got Cardinals, or as some people say, the Shardinals.
The last place.
The Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals. Before you even said it, I'm knocking it down as the team that's not advancing or not winning. They are losing the division. Rams, 49ers, Seahawks.
Rams.
Yeah, I think 49ers, you can make an argument if they truly stay healthy and the Seahawks have a regression year. Seahawks, I also think, didn't get better. Rams, they're the team that got the best in the entire fucking league, so how can you root against them? Rams win this division here.
Kenneth Walker's going to hurt. At some point.
Kenneth Walker is going to hurt, dude, because that guy was a fucking missile. Like, you know what I mean?
Missile. You won them the World Series.
Make a lot of guys like that, dude. The guy had like 150 yards rushing in the Super Bowl. Like, you just can't replicate guys like that.
And then he's going to be on the Chiefs. Fuck.
It's okay. Because as long as the Chiefs, we don't know how good the Chiefs are going to be. Again, the Chiefs are very fucking old that people aren't realizing.
Although Patrick Mahomes does not look like he's moving well.
Mm-hmm. So that's what Bill Simmons said today. Bill Simmons like, do you mind if I wait until week 3 to see how I can rank Patrick Mahomes? Because it's safe. It sucks to say it, but he could be already past his prime. He's hitting his 30s. Like, you don't know if we'll see the same guy again if he's going to come back for another dynasty. Like, you don't know.
Look, the way he's moving, I think if they're smart, they play Justin Fields for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
I was thinking the same thing. Because they're not going to lose. They're still going to go in 12 games. And you can make playoffs by 12 games. Maybe you don't want to be a first seed this year, right? Like,
yeah, and I mean, as a backup quarterback, we've seen Justin Fields get the Steelers to a 4-0 start. I mean, we've seen him do it as a backup quarterback. It's the problem is when he's your franchise quarterback, we've unfortunately seen it not go so well. But we've seen him step in good moments as the backup. So
definitely,
I mean, his best football was when he was in Pittsburgh and he was the primary backup. I mean, so yeah, I think he's just not. Mahomes just does not look like he's moving the same. He doesn't have the same reaction speed.
Feel that, dude. I do.
Yeah.
I do, and that sucks to see. But there's our NFL talk, boys and girls. We really appreciate you for stopping by. Are you ready for this closing discussion here, Danny?
Let's do it.
We're gonna touch back on baseball, right? Because baseball's the main topic. No football yet. Let's talk about baseball every chance we can get. Now, I'm looking at this. I want to think through the mind of Danny in terms of being unbiased, because I know who you're going to pick. I know who you're going to pick to answer this question, but here it goes. Is there any team that you would still be upset for winning the MLB World Series that isn't the Dodgers? And now I know what team you'd probably pick.
Yankees.
Oh, I thought you'd pick the Brewers.
I mean, the Brewers aren't winning a World Series.
Yeah, but any team that you pick, right, that you'd be
because that would be bullshit. That'd be such bullshit. If I have to sit here and watch the Knicks and then the Yankees win a fucking championship, I will kill myself.
That'd be fucking
I will kill myself. Like, I'm just so tired of the New York Yankees. I am just done with the Yankees. Same thing with Boston. Fuck Boston. Yeah, Milwaukee would stink, but I don't know. It's like that'd be cool because the Brewers have never been shit in my lifetime. It would suck because you'd hear the Wisconsin chaps talking shit, saying they're title town over us. But
Yeah.
no, I would probably say the Yankees because that would just be some mark ass shit. I mean that the team that they have as loaded as a team as the Dodgers do. Just nobody's paying attention to them because their best player's hurt.
Okay.
Their Ohtani is hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would probably say the Yankees. Do I think the Brewers? Oh fuck. Yeah.
Let me ask you part 2 of this question. That might help you answer this next part of the question. But who do you think also has the best chance to beat LA? Whether it's in their division, in their conference, or they're going to meet in the World Series.
I'm going to say the Yankees. Only because it's hard because the Cubs and Brewers, like the Cubs, Brewers, Braves are really good. They all got to play each other though.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think if you're thinking about the Yankees or you're thinking about, the Yankees, the team in front of them is the Rays. The Yankees could beat the Rays.
Yeah.
But then you look at like the North and the South. I'm sorry, the West, and you look at the West and the North. It's dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Astros that at one time were one of the worst teams in MLB. They found their way to winning the division, and the White Sox are randomly here because no one else knows how to play baseball. Now, I do think the Guardians will eventually catch the Sox. That's not a shot at the Sox. That's just that I've watched baseball for too long not to expect the Guardians to go on a 10-game winning streak at some point in September and just to win the division and then get booty spanked in the first series of the playoffs.
We're pretty used to that. And again, from being a 162er yourself, I trust your opinion.
Yeah.
Dude.
So, yeah, I would say probably the best option there is probably the Yankees. I would say probably whoever wins the AL has probably got the best chance. Because, I mean, the Cubs, they gotta go to war with the Brewers. The Braves have people forget the Braves have pretty much the same team that won a World Series.
Yeah.
Together. So it'll be interesting. It'll be pretty interesting. But I'd say whoever goes out of the AL. The Blue Jays almost did it last year.
And your best chance to hear us again is tuning back in next week when we talk to you guys on Thursday. We appreciate you guys for stopping by and parking with us and drinking a few beers with us on the driveway. We're going to be back next week to talk more NFL because NFL is going to be kicking off more. A lot more baseball to go, people. It is just the point where now you can kind of pick your team and try to push for a playoff spot. We're going to keep updating you guys on the Cubs news. Not as much Sox news. We're more of a Cubs podcast here on this side. Same thing with my last podcast. We didn't cover much Sox, so Sox can go sock themselves. So we're going to continue talking some Cubs ball.
College football. We're almost there.
Football, yeah.
College football. NFL, we're almost there.
I think that's my goal this year. My goal, I think, is to become a little bit more of a college football guy.
Okay. Gotta get into that. That's some good shit, Dijo.
That's some good shit, right? I like football, man.
I'm gonna be watching a lot more soccer this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna be, the last couple of years I've been heavy in the Premier League. I'm gonna be doing some other leagues this year.
It's time to MLS it up, baby.
We got a big game going on right now. Necaxa versus Fire.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got the whatever our nations league is going on, where Mexico and MLS play each other.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
Keep tuning in, boys and girls, and we appreciate you. Please comment, like, down, subscribe.
And to our Polish listeners, go watch Lewandowski. Support the Fire.
Lewandowski. Biało-czerwoni. Let's go,
baby.
Let's go, baby. All right.
Dziękuję.
Yeah. Peace out, guys, and we'll see you next week. Make sure you're parking in the driveway.
Park in that driveway.